but it's going now.
Hi everybody, my name's Annie and I'm one of the owners of Handsome Pizza and Sea Star Bakery in Portland, Oregon. Over the last few weeks through our online store, we've been selling a lot of fresh whole grain flour to you all. So I assume that you're all ready to start baking with it at home. So today I'm going to provide 4 super easy to follow tips that are sort of the basic things you need to know when baking with fresh whole grain flours. The first tip starts with this premise. When you close your eyes and imagine a whole grain muffin, does your mind immediately wander to a dense, crumbly block of food only fit for a hippie to consume? There's a good reason for this. Whole grain flours are thirsty. When you're baking with whole grain flour, you might want to increase liquids or fats accordingly to get a better result. With bread, if you're using baker's percentage, you can increase your hydration by 5, 10, I don't know, maybe even 15%. Be bold, be fearless. You can do this all at once, or you can do it slowly with each fold, adding a splash at a time. And if you end up with a soupy dough, don't worry about it. Slap it in a bread pan, throw it in the oven. I'm sure what you get will still be delicious. When it comes to bread and pastry, I tend to use a loose round up rule. So for example, if my recipe calls for 3/4 of a cup of olive oil, I'm just gonna increase it to 1 cup. Or if my recipe calls for a cup of yogurt, I'll use 1 1/4 cups. Eggs are another ingredient that you can increase that will add some liquid. And all of these things should help keep your batter or dough a little bit softer and bake into something slightly loftier and more moist in the end. For pie crust, we'll let Will talk about pizza crust in another video.
I will not.
For pie crust, I've had to use as much as 2 times the water that the recipe calls for to bring my dough together when using a fresh whole grain flour. Usually for pie crust, I feel like you're adding the water gradually, maybe a tablespoon at a time. So you can just, as you go, trust your instinct. And if the dough's not coming together, add a little bit more. So in short, whole grain flour is thirsty. Be patient with yourself, be patient with your flour, and make sure you give it plenty to drink.